Airbus. In the 46 years it has been operational, this France-based aircraft manufacturer has established manufacturing bases in 6 countries across 3 continents and boasts a global fleet that has completed more than 110 million flights over 215 billion kilometers, carrying 12 billion passengers. These numbers, of course, are rising every minute. India has suddenly found a special place in Airbus's global plans.
Airbus has made deliveries of over 10,000 aircraft so far and has been looking at the Indian market. In fact, the Indian domestic carrier market is what Airbus has been looking at, with about 70% market share, which they already enjoy. Remember, they have been expecting the Indian carriers to go ahead and use bigger planes to decongest most of the metro airports, which includes Delhi and Mumbai, where getting slots is getting difficult for airlines, especially in light of the regional connectivity scheme, which is being pushed by the government. Remember, A320 Neo family is the new addition as far as the order book for Airbus is concerned. About 5,000 aircraft in the Neo family has already been added. Airbus has been trying to deliver all these on time. The backlog is about 7,000 aircraft, which they will deliver during a period of about 8 to 10 years.
With an explosion in India's aviation market, airlines have decided to make narrow-bodied aircraft their bird of choice. And that's where the A320 Neo, a modern variant of the vastly popular Airbus A320, comes in. So far, every Indian carrier except SpiceJet finds a place on Airbus's long list of clients. Airbus has delivered aircrafts across categories, from the wide-body A330 that's used for long-haul flights to the next-generation A350X wide-body to its flagship A380, but the Airbus A320 has been its biggest hit for nearly 50 years. From India alone, Airbus has received 13,081 orders for this aircraft, delivered 7,564 so far, leaving it with a backlog of 5,517 aircrafts. Since 2010, the A320 Neo has become the range with 5,000 orders pouring in. Over the next 10 years, Airbus will deliver 570 A320 Neos to various Indian carriers. So what's behind the success of this aircraft?
The A320 Neo is now equipped with a very fuel-efficient engine. It's going to deliver between 15 and 20% fuel efficiency over the current aircraft, which is substantial and will bring great economics to those people who are flying this airplane.
Right.
Yeah.
So could you give me 5 major points that is different as far as 320 Neo goes?
Well, with the A320 Neo, we're able to carry more passengers. In the case of typical operations in India, maybe 2 tons, and be able to fly even 500 nautical miles further. So that's a substantial amount of flexibility which airlines can gain from this airplane.
Right. You've also spoken about how there's going to be certain, there have been concerns about environment issues, the noise pollution. So this is also something which is taken care of in the 320 Neo?
Oh, most definitely. The aircraft is much, much quieter. And it's discernible for the passengers inside the cabin as well as people outside. So it has a much, much lower footprint around the airport, so the noise is very much reduced. And on top of that, the emissions are much lower, and in fact, you could say that the aircraft is a new environmental option.
Right, so does it add up to the saving list for airlines?
Yes, and definitely most parts of the world, in many parts of the world rather, there is levies which are placed, and it's not so the case in India yet, but it's equipped. It's equipped for the future.
Right. When we come to mood lighting, that is something which is new. Even Vistara'S aircraft has that. So could you elaborate that 300-second sunrise?
Indeed, yes. In fact, Vistara spent a lot of time designing the interior of this airplane, right from the passenger seats, and including things like the mood lighting. So they have arranged a number of scenarios for the mood lighting inside the cabin for different times of the day, for different phases of the flight. For example, sunrise, sunset, nighttime flight, for meal services, for example. And this will very much enhance the passenger experience, as well as overcome fatigue.
Right. And has Vistara ordered more A320 Neos?
Well, we're about to deliver the first of the A320 Neo, and there are a total of 7 to be delivered for the middle of 2018. So this will be added to the existing fleet of 13 aircraft, giving them a total of 20 aircraft by the middle of next year.
So have more airlines, domestic Indian airlines, approached you for A320 Neos, or Vistara is the only one?
We have other operators of the 320 Neo in India. It's an aircraft which has been very successful. We have around 7% market share. The aircraft is flown with Indigo, with Air India and with Go Air.
But Airbus says that the key to its success has been the fact that each of its aircraft models offer varied benefits to airlines, allowing airlines to be flexible with growth strategies.
Well, the 350 is a long-range wide-body aircraft. We have two sizes, the 350-900 and the 350-1000, which are flying ultra-long ranges. For example, this aircraft is capable of doing from Singapore to East Coast USA, such as which were used by Singapore Airlines. It is a wider aircraft, it's wider than its competing aircraft, so it gives passengers more comfort. It has many more features. We use the space of the aircraft to improve the overall experience of flight, particularly long-haul flight. And remember, the A320 economy is at 18 inches, at least in economy section, so that's very comfortable.
Right. So any more changes, bigger changes that we can expect on a A380, for example?
Well, the A380 really is a flagship. It's flown into India currently, as you know. It flies into Bombay and Delhi. And it flies into those times of the day and those airports which are slot constrained. This is something which we will continue to see in the future as traffic grows. And in India, traffic is growing well above the worldwide average. And the industry doubles in size every 15 years. In India, this will be the case, even much less. So the aircraft is definitely going to be required in the future.
The growth spurt in the Indian aviation market has Airbus excited, especially with the Indian carriers like Indigo, Vistara and Air India giving out bulk orders.
You are the world's fastest growing in terms of passengers, traffic. In fact, in domestic terms, you've landed at the third largest. In international, fourth largest. So certain potentials definitely have been harnessed. And it's interesting. And this growth appears to be having a future because a lot of airlines are ordering aircrafts and not involving the taxpayers' money there.
The A320 Neo is not Airbus's only weapon. The newest member of the Airbus family is the A350X wide-body. This plane is powered by Rolls-Royce Trent XWB engines, considered to be the world's most efficient large aero engines flying today. It can easily pull off a non-stop flight from New Delhi to JF Kennedy International Airport in New York in less than 13 hours. Just to give you some perspective, Air India's non-stop flight on this route takes 15 hours on a Boeing 777. Airbus claims its A350X offers 25% fuel saving and lower operation costs than any other competitor's aircraft.
Well, we are the newest facility of Airbus, which is dedicated to the A350 wide-body aircraft. Now remember, these are the aircraft which are used for long-haul destinations. Now, let me get you a check here. There are about 44 airlines which have ordered for these aircraft. As you can see right behind me, these are the wider ones. The seat range is about 320 to 336 seats. That's the kind of range it has. Also, Airbus tells us that the top 5 customers for these wide-body planes are Qatar Airways, Etihad Airways, Singapore Airlines and even United Airlines. There are about 381 aircraft orders that have been added to Airbus book. All of this is done and built at this facility itself.
Indian carriers have also been placing some big orders. Indigo, for instance, is looking to convert its fleet to A320 Neos. Vistara plans to order 100 more aircraft, and Air India is studying the modalities of updating its fleet. But the Airbus says that India has an acute shortage of trained pilots, and that means Indian carriers may not be able to take full advantage of the advancements and upgrades Airbus makes to its aircraft.
I think India is, with the obvious growth in boom in aviation that is destined to happen. And I think also from a perspective of the pilots as well, there definitely is going to be a big need to have to supply the flight decks with pilots. So in that case, you need to make sure they are well trained and well qualified pilots, for safety reasons, for the travelling public's interest. And there's no dearth of talent in India. It's a huge country and there's a lot of talent, a lot of capabilities. But the problem today is, is that the facilities within India is limited. They are, but they are also limited in terms of facilities. People are forced to go overseas. So it would be best if it's all done, at home, in India.
The other problem is that the Indian aviation market is still concentrated on short-haul flights. More than 60% of Indian air traffic is on domestic routes, which means that airlines must move away from smaller aircraft if India's plans to decongest Indian airports, especially in metros like Delhi and Mumbai, is to become successful.
Airbus company has been looking at making a wider footprint as far as the Indian market is concerned, and international markets also they have been looking at. They believe the Indian market will grow by leaps and bounds, especially with aviation sector growing over 20% per year. That's the kind of market Airbus has been looking at. We bring you to the end of our show in France. This is goodbye from CNBC TV 18.